This is a video tutorial for SP6a atomic models and SP6b inside the atom. Now, one of the earliest models for what the atom actually looked like was this, the plum pudding model. Now, how the plum pudding model worked is you have this positive material that completely surrounded these negatively charged electrons. Now, the positive charge was perfectly matched to the number of these electrons which were negatively charged, and this ended up with a neutral atom. Now, they knew that the atom was neutrally charged, so this was a way of having that feature in their atom. Rutherford then came along with this. This is called the Rutherford gold foil experiment. He fired a radioactive source of alpha particles at a thin layer of gold foil, and he wanted to see where those alpha particles would then end up. He could move this detector around the circle and he could see where those alpha particles ended up. And this is what he ended up seeing. Most of the alpha particles passed straight through, not colliding with any part of the atom and just coming out the same angle that they were put in. Some were deflected by just a small amount, and very few bounced straight back. And this led Rutherford to conclude that the atom was mostly empty space, because most of these alpha particles just went straight through and didn't interact with the atom at all. So imagine there's a football in the middle of this pitch. Okay, that's going to be our nucleus. Then we're going to put two P's in the top part of the stadium. This could represent a helium atom. The football in the middle is the nucleus of the helium atom, and the P's in the top parts of the stadium are the electrons orbiting. The rest of the atom is empty space. So that shows us just how much of the atom is empty space, if the football represents the nucleus and the P's represent the electrons. So the rough radius of a nucleus is about 1 × 10⁻15 meters. That's this number here. And the radius of the atom is 1 × 10⁻10 meters, so this number here. And you see that the nucleus is so much smaller than the atom itself. And the atom is about 100,000 times bigger than the nucleus. So it's about 99% empty space. So a quick question for you to try. A dot 1 millimeter in diameter represents the nucleus of an atom. The same scale, how far across would the whole atom be? Pause the video and have a go at that question. Okay, so first thing to do is to convert this millimeter into meters. So 1 millimeter is 0.001 meter. We then multiply that by this factor here, it's 100,000, and we get 100 meters. So if the nucleus was just 1 millimeter, then the whole atom would be 100 meters across. Okay, that just shows you once again how much of the atom is just empty space. Okay, here's another question for you to try. So compare and contrast Rutherford's model of the atom with the plum pudding model. 4-mark question, so you should take about 4 minutes to write your response. Pause the video, have a go, and then I'll come back with the answers. Okay, so here are the answers that you were looking for. So for compare and contrast, when you see a question with those two words, you're looking for similarities and differences. So for similarities, you could say so you have to give 2 of these. Both contain positive and negative charges. That would have been a mark. Both have electrons. Would give you another mark. Or both imagine the atoms as spheres. And so you get 1 mark for each for a maximum of 2. So for this question, you had to give 2 similarities and 2 differences. So for the differences, 2 from in the plum pudding model, there is no empty space, whereas in Rutherford's model is mostly empty space. You get a mark saying that. In the plum pudding model, the positive charge is spread out throughout the whole atom, whereas in Rutherford's model, the positive charge is concentrated in the nucleus. So you get 2 marks for the similarities 2 marks for the differences, give you your 4 marks. Okay, let's now have a look at the parts of the atom, their masses and their charges. So the nucleus of the atom is made up of protons and neutrons. Protons are positively charged, P proton positive, positively charged. They have a charge of +1 and they have a relative mass of 1. The neutron, neutron, neutral charge. They have no charge. Orbiting around the outside, you have the electrons. Now, electrons are negatively charged. They have a charge of -1, and we say they have a negligible mass, which means their mass is very, very, very small compared to the mass of the protons and the neutrons. So you have protons, positive 1 charge, 1 mass, neutron, neutral, no charge, and 1 mass, and the electron orbiting around the outside with a -1 charge and negligible or very, very low mass. Pause the video now and see if you can complete this table. Okay, so hopefully these are the answers you should have got. So the electron has negligible mass, once again that means very, very low mass, and charge -1. The neutron has mass 1 and no charge, and the proton mass 1 and charge +1. Now it's really important that you are able to recall all of the information on this table. You will be asked this in your exam, both the mass and the charge of these 3 particles. What I'd like you to do now, have a look at these 3 different atoms, see if you can spot the difference between them. Hopefully you could have spotted that the number of neutrons, these blue particles, is different in each one. So each one's got the same number of electrons, the same number of protons, but a different number of neutrons. Because these atoms have got the same number of protons, 6, each of them is carbon. But the different number of neutrons make these what's called isotopes. So this is a key term, isotope. Atoms of the same element that contain the same number of protons but a different number of neutrons. Okay, you need to know this definition. So here we have 3 isotopes of hydrogen. Each of them has got 1 proton, but each of them has got a different number of neutrons, 0, 1 and 2. Now the number of protons always tells you what element something is. So here, if it's got 1 proton, it's always hydrogen. If it's got 2, it's always helium, 3, lithium, and so on. So carbon always has 6 protons. The number of neutrons might change, the number of electrons might change, but always 6 protons. If it doesn't have 6 protons, not carbon. Okay, finally, I just want to go through atomic notation. So hopefully you might recognize symbols like this. This is what we use to give us all the information about a particular atom. This big letter in the middle, this is the atomic symbol. This symbol matches the symbol found on the periodic table and tells us what element it is. So in this case, this is carbon. The bottom number is called the atomic or the proton number, and this tells us the number of protons in the atom. And the top number is the mass number or the nucleon number, and this tells us the total number of protons and neutrons. So you've got protons here, protons and neutrons up here. So an atom of nitrogen has 7 protons and 7 neutrons. Show this atom in symbol form with its mass and atomic numbers. Have a go at this question. Okay, so hopefully you should have got this. So nitrogen, if you look up on a periodic table, is N. It has 7 protons, so the atomic number is 7, and its mass number is 7 protons plus 7 neutrons, give 14. So you should have N, 14, 7. Okay, some more practice for you to try now. what I'd like you to do, pause the video and try to write out the atomic symbols or the atomic notation for the first 19 elements. So I've given you the element name, I've given you the number of protons, and I've given you the number of neutrons. I'd like you to try to write out the atomic notation for all of them. Okay, so here are all the answers. I'm not going to go through each one, but mark your work and see if you got the same as me. Okay, and the last question for today. The symbol for an isotope of beryllium is 9,4Be. How many of the following particles does it contain? Protons and neutrons. Have a go at this question, and then I'll go through it in a moment. So hopefully the proton number should be quite straightforward. The number of protons for beryllium, well, the atomic number is 4, so it has 4 protons. Now the mass number should also be quite straightforward. The mass number is 9, and this is the total number of protons and neutrons. So the number of neutrons then is going to be 9 minus the number of protons, which we already know is 4. So 9 minus 4 gives us 5. So this atom has 4 protons and 5 neutrons. That is the end of this tutorial. Hope you found it useful. Goodbye.